What's up, YouTube? We're back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. Today, we're going to talk about the AFC South, though. We're going to talk about the whole division. I'm going to go through game by game, and we're going to predict the entire division, exactly what the Texans, what the Jags, what Indy, what Tennessee record is going to be. So we're going to go through every single week, all 18 weeks, and we're going to break down exactly what some wins happening, what some losses happening. Do somebody end up in a tie? I don't know. We're going to go through game by game, exactly see how this division will fall and how this division will end up being once we get to week 18, who wins the division, who's in the playoffs, and who's sitting at home, and who might have an early draft pick. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. But before we get in there, like I've been telling y'all before, man, if you're liking the content, make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're watching all the videos. Make sure you're liking all the videos. Make sure you're sharing all the videos. Make sure you comment on the videos first. But then also make sure you're sharing all the videos on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share it on the same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. Link in the description below. We trying to get this channel growing and growing and growing, especially for the new season. We got to get this channel growing, and I can't do that without y'all help. I need y'all help. That means I need y'all to do your part, which means I need you to tell a friend, so they could tell a friend, so they could tell a friend, so they could tell another friend, so then they could tell a friend and put them on game with the channel. Really, really, really appreciate that. And also stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to let y'all know exactly what the schedule is going to be for the upcoming season as far as my channel and how we going to be doing stuff, the lives, the pre-recorded videos and things like that. I'm going to tell y'all, so make sure y'all stay to the end of the video after we break down the schedule for the Houston Texans and the AFC South as a whole. Also, so y'all exactly know exactly how it go down, exactly what we gonna look forward to this upcoming season for my channel. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all stay tuned after I talk about the schedule so y'all can see exactly. Now, let's talk about it. So, the AFC South, we all know the noise. We hear people talk about how trash the AFC South all the time. You have other people from other teams and other fan bases talk about how weak the AFC South is, like it's the weakest division in the NFL. Now, granted, it is one of the weak. I do think that the NFC South is a worse division, easily a worse division than the AFC South. But the AFC South does have its problems. But let's not forget that this division has been competitive amongst the division for a while now. I mean, you had a couple years ago, Jags won the division. Then you had Tennessee win the division 2 times before. And then obviously, the Texans been doing what we've been doing in the division. Indy hasn't really won the division, I think, since 2014 is the last time Indy's won the division. They've been to the playoffs a couple times since then. And it's even one playoff game came into Houston, NRG, and beat them in 2018. So Indy's been to the playoffs since then. They have yet to win a division title since 2014. All three of the teams outside Houston has made it to the AFC Championship game within the last 10 years. I mean, Indy made the AFC Championship game in 2014. Jacksonville made it in 2017. Tennessee made it in 2019. The Texans, the only team in the entire division that has yet to win. There's won the division title as many times as they have and been to the playoffs as many times as they have, has yet to actually make it to the conference championship game. And that's definitely something that they're trying to correct this year. But hey, one day at a time, one step forward. I mean, you can't get to the AFC Championship game until you get through all 18 regular season games, or all 18 weeks of the NFL season, all 17 games. So we're going to talk about, we're going to break down week by week, game by game, exactly what this division is going to look like. And we're going to talk about how the division stacks up at the end and exactly what these teams are looking like and possibly what does this mean for them going forward and what does it mean for them in their just straight future right there. So week 1, the Houston Texans, as we all know, go to LA to face the Rams on the road. Week 1, go to the Rams week 1. I have the Texans going into LA, especially with everything's been going on. Matt Stafford just now coming back to practice just a couple weeks ago, things like that. Sean McVay's team never really plays in the preseason, and they kind of always start off a little wonky, start off a little slow. I got Houston going in there, especially the way they've been clicking on all sun this training camp. I got Houston walking into LA and beating the Los Angeles Rams. Jacksonville, they host Carolina. And that's the same thing I'm saying about the Texans. It's the opposite for Carolina. From what I've seen out of Carolina in our preseason game against them, our joint practice against them, their practice, the game against Cleveland, and then just the other stuff. They don't look like they're ready to play an NFL season right now. Maybe as the season goes on, they get stronger, but they don't look like they're ready to play right out the gate. And it's at Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville comes away with the dub. Indy hosts Miami. This might be a shocker to everybody. I have Indy beating Miami week one. It's home at Indianapolis. I think that the way that their team is set up, I actually think them putting in Daniel Jones is a good thing for them, especially long term for this season. I think it does. I think it does give them more wins this season. Now, again, it might not benefit them long term because they need to find out exactly what they're doing with AR. But as far as this season right here goes, I do think it actually helps them out. I have them beating Miami. I think Mike McDaniels more likely gets fired this year. I think this is the last year of the whole Mike McDaniels thing in Miami as being a head coach. I think he might be a great OC. I don't think he has the capability to be an actual head coach and be the leader of men leading the ship and things like that. I don't think he is that. I think he's a great offensive mind and a good offensive coordinator. I don't think he's a good head coach. And I think that Indy goes out and they beat them week one. So I have Indy winning week one. Tennessee got to go to Denver. One of the best defense, if not the best defense in the NFL. With that rookie quarterback, not a good offensive line. I'm gonna be honest with you. I understand. I know it's just preseason. I get it. You got to take preseason with a grain of salt. I know people talk about preseason doesn't matter. The result doesn't matter, but the way things look does. And I don't think Tennessee's going to be a good football team. I look at that team against I forgot who they were playing against. Was it the Vikings? I think it was the Vikings on Friday, and they had 3-and-outs against the second team. Their starting offense had 3-and-outs against the second team and third team defenses. That's their second and third team defense. This is your starting offense. And I'm not saying you have to score, but a 3-and-out? Like, their offense does not look good. I don't think they have any weapons. Cam Ward does. I don't think Cam Ward has a lot of protection. I don't think that Tennessee is going to be a good football team. And actually, when I went through the schedule, I'm actually surprised of how many wins I actually ultimately gave Tennessee. I gave them more wins than I probably thought I would have, but I did think some of these games, sometimes it's scenario based, depending on the weeks and things like that. And, some of these wins you're just going to stumble and fall on. So I do think that's part of it. But I'm actually kind of surprised of the wins I actually gave Tennessee. But it ain't this one. It ain't this one. I have them losing week one to the Denver Broncos. Week two, Monday night, the Houston Texans home opener hosting Tampa Bay. We know what happened last time Tampa Bay came in the NRG. That was basically C.J. Stroud's magnificent game. He scored that touchdown with 40 seconds left on the clock. Hey, it was a shootout back and forth. He threw for over 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, just a magnificent game. And also Baker Mayfield played well in that game as well. And coming off the season that Baker Mayfield just had last year with 40 plus touchdowns, over 4,000, over 4,500 yards, like Baker Mayfield. And then also you talking about bringing in the Ibuka as well, the man Ibuka into the fold. I do think that is going to be a very explosive offense. And it's going to be an extreme test. Again, our defense, we talk about how good the Texans defense is, they're going to get it right out the gate with the receivers that they got over there and with the Rams and also this offensive firepower they got there in Tampa. But that don't change nothing. I still got the Texans beating Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football for week two. Week two, Jacksonville has to go to Cincinnati. I don't care how bad. I don't care how bad Cincinnati defense is. I don't care how bad Cincinnati defense is. They do not have the firepower. They got BTJ. They do not have the firepower to compete with Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins. They don't have the firepower to compete with that. They're not beating the Cincinnati Bengals. I have Jacksonville losing week two at Cincinnati. Week two, Indy hosts Denver. Kind of the same thing what comes with Tennessee. That defense is just too good. The defense is just too good. And even though Indy does have some weapons, their defense is just too good. I have the Denver Broncos beating the Indianapolis Colts. I have Indy losing that game. Week 2, Tennessee playing against the Rams. I think this is when the Rams, after week 1, it start, getting back to looking like how the Rams look. I got the Rams beating Tennessee. Week 3, Houston at Jacksonville. So Jacksonville hosts Houston. So Jacksonville hosts Houston. The Texans on what, like, they haven't lost a road playoff, a road division game since like 2022. Like, no, actually, I take that back. Since 2021, since David Culley, since 2021. I think the last one was at Indy, if I'm not mistaken. I got Houston beating Jacksonville. I got Houston. I have Houston beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's gonna be a long day for somebody like Travis Hunter, who think he's gonna have to play offense and be covered and be guarded by either Sting or Kamari, and then turn around and then try to cover Nico or Higgins or Noel or Kurt or X. I don't see it happening. He's gonna have a long day at the office. He's gonna have a long day at the office. Even though I don't think Sting is gonna cook. I think Sting will be, if you're gonna put Sting on somebody, you're gonna put Sting on BTJ, and you're gonna probably have Kamari and on somebody like Travis Hunter. So again, I have Houston beating Jacksonville, which means I have Jacksonville losing. Then week 3, Tennessee hosts Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis is just a better team. So I have Indianapolis beating Tennessee, which means I have Tennessee losing. Week 4, Houston hosts Tennessee. Hey, we gotta get back from Tennessee coming into NRG last year after the Dallas Cowboy game on Monday Night Football, coming down here and actually beating the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans cannot afford to lose against bad teams like that, especially at home. It's one thing to lose to a bad team, period, but you're doing it at home. That's the difference between being a number 1 seed or number 2 seed and being the 4 seed and only having one home playoff game, and then you gotta go on the road. You gotta go to a Baltimore, to a Kansas City, to a Buffalo in late January. That's the difference by beating and losing to these type of teams. So you have to win the games that you're supposed to win. So I have the Houston Texans beating Tennessee, which means I have Tennessee losing that game. I have in week 4, Jacksonville goes up to San Francisco. San Francisco is just a bad team. I have San Francisco beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have Indianapolis going to the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are just in the first 4 weeks, they got Houston, Indy, and Tennessee. They gonna get this when they come. They gonna lose to Houston, but they gonna turn around. Like I said, they beat Tennessee. I have them also beating Indianapolis. I have Indianapolis losing to the Rams, and like I said earlier, I have Tennessee losing to us week 4. Week 5, the Houston Texans, who are 4-0, go to Baltimore. I don't care what nobody say. The Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson are the Houston Texans nemesis. I don't care nothing about Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. We've beaten Patrick Mahomes already. We've already beaten Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City in 2019. We beat Josh Allen in 2019 in the playoffs, and we turned around and made him look foolish with the 9 for 30 performance in NRG this past season. It don't matter who the head coach or quarterback is. It don't matter if it's Derek Deshaun Watson and William Bill O'Brien, or if it's D'Amico Ryans and Cole Reed Stroud. The Texans cannot beat the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. It ain't happened yet. So until it happens, I'm sorry, Houston Texans. Until it happens, I cannot sit up here and say that the Houston Texans are going to beat the Baltimore Ravens, especially at the bank, especially in Baltimore. I don't care the Texans are coming in 4-0. I don't care the Texans are rolling high. I don't care what Baltimore looks like until until the Houston Texans actually beat Baltimore. It could be in Houston, it could be in Baltimore, it could be in Mars, it could be on the Pacific Ocean. I don't care where it's at, but it has to happen. It has to happen first. So until it happens, I will not pick the Texans to beat the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar, especially while Lamar Jackson is the quarterback. Now, if it's somebody else is the quarterback, we can have a different conversation for a different subject. But as long as Lamar Action Jackson, so as long as Lamar Jackson is the quarterback against the Houston Texans, playing for the Baltimore Ravens against the Houston Texans, I have the Houston Texans losing to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry. Jacksonville hosts in week 5. Jacksonville hosts Kansas City. We already know. Come on now. Come on now. Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Kansas City. They trying to get back right. They trying to get back to the Super Bowl. I got the Houston. I got Kansas City beating Jacksonville. Week 5, uh, Indianapolis hosts the Las Vegas Raiders. I think again, this is one of the games that Indy can win because of Indy has talent. I mean, they got JT, they got Michael Pittman. I think these are the type of games that I think that Steichen can get Daniel Jones ready for. Because again, remember, Daniel Jones went to a playoff and won a playoff game, beat Minnesota as a Giant. So I do think again he has talent around him. So I do think that it does suit them better this season for them to win some more games. So I have them beating the Las Vegas Raiders. Um, Tennessee, game 2 of a three game road streak. They the schedule they just kind of did Tennessee wrong a little bit too. I ain't gonna lie to you. They go to Arizona. I think Arizona's a better football team. So I have Arizona beating Tennessee. It's not much said. Like I said, I don't really think that Tennessee's going to be a good football team. So I have Arizona beating Tennessee. Week 6, Texans have a bye week, so no game that week. Uh, Jacksonville hosts Seattle. I've had Jacksonville lose 4 straight games. After winning their first game, I have them wheeling, losing 4 straight games. I have them winning this game. I have them beating the Seattle Seahawks. So I have Jacksonville beating Seattle. Arizona, week 6, Indianapolis hosts Arizona. I have Indy beating Arizona. I think again, this is the type of game, the type of matchup that Indiana, the Steichen can get Daniel Jones ready for, and I have them beating the Arizona Cardinals. Week 6, Tennessee going to Las Vegas. This is one of the games I think that Tennessee just fools around and win. They're 0-5 on the road. I just think this is the type of game that they just the Vegas just catch them slipping. The Vegas just catches themselves slipping, thinking it's an easy walkthrough win. And I think that Cam Ward has some rookie Cam Ward magic, and they go out there and they find a way to defeat on the road. Go out there and find a way to defeat the Las Vegas Raiders. So I have Tennessee getting their first win of the season against the Las Vegas Raiders. Week 7, Houston Texans, a late. When I mean late, we talking about a 12 o'clock game. It ain't really 12 o'clock. I think it's really like 10. I think it's like 10:30 though. Like Monday night football game. Houston Texans go to Seattle late, coming off a bye week. At first, I was like, man, this might be an L because it's late. But I'm like, they have an extra week to prepare and got extra time to get there. I think this is a game that I think Houston could possibly win. So I have Houston beating Seattle week 7 on Monday football, their late Monday football game. I have Houston week 7 beating Seattle. Jacksonville have them going to, well, no, they host them, my bad. They host the the Los Angeles Rams. Again, like I said, the Rams, early on, they knock out the AFC South early on. They lose week 1 to the Texans. I had them beating Tennessee, beating Indy. I also have them beating Jacksonville. I have Jacksonville losing to the Los Angeles Rams week 7. Also week 7 at Los Angeles, the Indianapolis Colts go to Los Angeles to play against the Los Angeles Chargers. Just think the Chargers are a better football team, and the Chargers easily find a way to beat and defeat the Indianapolis Colts. So I have them beating the Los Angeles Colts. Also week 7, Tennessee hosts going back home. They host Mike Vrabel in the New England Patriots. You already know Mike Vrabel gonna get his revenge, right? You know, because he was wrongfully fired. Like Mike Vrabel should still be the head coach of Tennessee. Like Mike Vrabel was a good head coach. Um, Mike Vrabel easily will defeat them. Plus, also sidebar, I think New England sneaks in at the very least as a 7 seed. I think that what Vrabel's going to be able to do, especially what we seen out of Drake May last year, I think that New England makes it into the playoffs. I think they end up being the second best team in that division, above the Jets and above the Dolphins, but obviously behind Buffalo. And I think they make it in as a 7 seed in that division, or 7 seed in the playoffs, and they make it in. So I think they beat Tennessee week 7. Week 8, Houston hosts the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, D'Amico Ryan's going against his former team that he was coaching on against Kyle Shanahan, his former boss. I think I think San Fran wins. I just have a hunch. I think this is just one of the games that the Texans just dropped. I think this is just one of the games that the Texans dropped. So I have the Texans losing to San Francisco. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the H Town Blue game, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the H Town Blue game. So I have the Houston Texans losing to the San Francisco 49ers week 8. Week 8, Jacksonville, they have a bye week. Week 8, Tennessee, Indianapolis hosts Tennessee. So they already done with Tennessee. They've already finished. They already done with it. They had Tennessee week 3. They had Tennessee week 8. They host Tennessee. I have the Indianapolis losing to Tennessee. So it means I have Tennessee winning. I have Indianapolis losing to Tennessee. I have Tennessee winning. So I have Indy losing to Tennessee. Have Tennessee winning. Week 9, Houston hosts Denver Broncos. This is the Janice McNair game. This is the game that Janice McNair gets inducted into the Texas Ring of Honor. The Texans are 4-0. Well, 3-0, I'm sorry. The Texans are 3-0 when we induct somebody in the Ring of Honor. Andre, we beat the Cardinals. Bob, we beat Atlanta. With JJ, we beat Pittsburgh. Denver, I think we're going to win that game. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think that this is my personal opinion because we've already listed that. I think that the Buffalo Bill game, that's going to be Battle Red game. That's going to be the game where they're going to wear the all red jerseys. I think this game is where they're going to wear the red jerseys but white pants. I think they're going because we normally wear red when we induct somebody into the Ring of Honor. We wore red with Andre. Now we didn't wear red with Bob. We did not wear red with Bob, but we did wear red when we inducted Andre, and we also wore red when we inducted JJ against Pittsburgh. So I do think that we're going to wear red that game because they give them the red jackets. The Texans are 3-0 when they put somebody in the Ring of Honor. I think they're going to be 4-0 and I have them beating the Denver Broncos. Week 9, Jacksonville goes to Las Vegas. I have Jacksonville beating the Las Vegas Raiders. I have Jacksonville going out there to Vegas and beating Las Vegas Raiders. Week 9, I have Indy going to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh, with their defense and Dan Jones making mistakes, I think that Pittsburgh beats the Indianapolis beats Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. So I have Indy losing that game. I have Week 9, Tennessee hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. This might be one of the biggest surprises. Cam gets his first home win. I have Cam Ward beating the Los Angeles Chargers. That's one of those games. How they win this game? That's another game where they catch somebody slipping, catch somebody stumbling and fumbling. I have Tennessee beating the Los Angeles Chargers at home, getting their first home game again, like getting because their first 2 games at Vegas and also at Indy, both of those games on the road, they finally get a home win. So I have them winning their first home game. Week 10, Houston hosts Jacksonville. Y'all about to be mad, about to be real upset. I have Houston losing to Jacksonville. I don't have Houston going 6-0 in the division. I have that they're going to lose at least one game, maybe 2. I have them losing the game. I know people gonna say we don't lose to Jacksonville, and we sure ain't gonna lose to Jacksonville at home. Um, last time we lost a division game was at home against Tennessee with Will Levis. Also, CJ's rookie year, we lost to Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville, and I do think they're probably a better team now than they were then. Also, we almost lost to them last year. Like it took a walk-off touchdown to Dari for the Texans to beat Jacksonville at NRG last year. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for the Texans to lose at home to Jacksonville because the last division game that they had at home, they lost. The last division game against this opponent, they were shaky. In the game before that, they lost. So I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this game. So again, I have Houston losing. That means I have Jacksonville winning. Also, week 10, Indianapolis, they host Atlanta. I think this again is one of those games that Shane Steichen can get his way and coach his way to a win. So I have Indy beating the Atlanta Falcons. Week 10, Tennessee's on the bye week. Week 11, Houston goes to Tennessee. I have Houston beating Tennessee. You can't lose to You can't lose to Jacksonville and then turn around and then lose to Tennessee. You have to beat Tennessee. And again, I think the Texans are just a better football team. And again, I think just kind of like last year, just kind of like how last year that they wasn't going to lose to Jacksonville because their ears were perked because they lost to Jacksonville the year before. I feel like this is going to be the same way. They're going to be very careful when it comes to Tennessee because they know that Tennessee won the NRG last year and beat them last year. They're not going to let that happen again at Houston or at Tennessee. I feel the Texans go out there, they beat Tennessee on the road, which means I have Tennessee losing that game. Week 11, I have Jacksonville hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. I have the Jacksonville losing to the Chargers, so I have the Chargers losing. I have the Chargers beating Jacksonville, so Jacksonville losing to the Chargers. Week 11, Indianapolis, they have a bye week. Like I said, Tennessee loses to Houston. Week 12, Buffalo, Thursday Night Football, Battle Red. I got Houston beating Buffalo. Like you have to win against some of these good teams. You have to win against again Baltimore, Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo. You have to win. You beat Buffalo last year. Can't just make that for naught. You have to beat them and turn around and beat them this year as well. So I have Houston Thursday Night Football. Bright Lights was at Amazon Prime. Battle Red. I have the Houston Texans defeating the Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football. Week 12, you have Jacksonville going to Arizona. I have Jacksonville going into Arizona and beating Arizona at Arizona. So I have Jacksonville beating Arizona. Have Indianapolis. They go to Kansas City. What are we talking about? Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. They defeat Indianapolis. Enough said. Week 12, Tennessee hosts Seattle. Seattle goes out there and beat Tennessee. Like I said, I don't think Tennessee's a good football team. I think that Seattle beats Tennessee. Week 13, Houston goes to Indianapolis. Like I said, the Texans have not lost a division game on the road since David Culley. I don't think it happens this year either. I have Houston defeating Indianapolis at Indy because again, I think Daniel Jones is a better quarterback for the Indianapolis this season, but not against us because we're a team that constantly gives up big plays. That's like we constantly give up big plays. That's the weakness. That's the Achilles heel of our defense. They give up big plays. You're not gonna get that with Daniel Jones. Then you would get that with AR because AR against us in the two games against of the game one, he had 350+ yard touchdowns. Well, 350+ yard plays. Two of them was a touchdown, one wasn't. One was like got him to like the 10 or something like that. He had 250s and a 60. And then had another 50-yard plus play at NRG the second time they played against the game that he tapped out in. So that mostly benefits them to have AR out there because maybe they can get a bomb, a cheap shot, and able to put us on our heels and be able to, especially during a close, tight game, that right there could change the tide. That's not going to be the situation when it comes with Daniel Jones. The way he's going to dink and dunk, that's not going to happen with us. So I have Indianapolis losing to us. So I have us beating Indianapolis, which means I have Indianapolis losing. Jacksonville, they go to Tennessee week 13. I have Jacksonville beating Tennessee. So since I have Jacksonville beating Tennessee, obviously that means I have Tennessee losing to Jacksonville that week as well. Week 14, Sunday Night Football at KC. Again, you have to get some of these wins, and it can't just be one against Buffalo. I had you losing to Baltimore. I have you beating Buffalo. What I got you doing on the road, you came very close in both situations in the regular season and the postseason. If Kyrie makes field goals and extra points, I feel like we beat Kansas City. And I feel like we beat Kansas City on Sunday Night Football week 14. The Houston Texans beat Kansas City week 14. Week 14, Jacksonville hosts Indianapolis. I have Indianapolis beating Jacksonville at Jacksonville. So I have Indy beating Jacksonville at Indy. So as I said, I have Indianapolis beating Jacksonville at Jacksonville. So I have Indy losing, Jacksonville winning. Week 14, I have Tennessee going to Cleveland, and I have them because I don't know who's going to be starting quarterback. I have I have Tennessee beating Cleveland at Cleveland, week 14. Week 15, Houston hosts Arizona. The Texans just won four straight, beating Tennessee, beating Buffalo, beating Indianapolis, and then also Sunday Night Football, beating Kansas City on the road, having two back-to-back road games, now hosting Arizona. Like I said before, Arizona can get big plays, especially with somebody like Marv and somebody like Kyler Murray. I think hey, this is going to be one that the Texans end up losing. It's set up, especially the wins that they just had. It's set up for that. So I have the Texans losing at home against Arizona. Week 15, I have Jacksonville hosting the New York Jets. I think Jacksonville turns around and beats the New York Jets. Week 15, Indianapolis goes to Seattle. I just think the way the way Indy's able to go, I think that they're able to get coached up, and I think they're able to go on the road and turn around and beat Seattle in Seattle. Week 15. Week 15, I have Tennessee going to San Fran. They just beat Cleveland at Cleveland. I have them losing to San Fran and San Francisco. Week 16, Houston hosts the Las Vegas Raiders. Just think they're a better football team. I think the Texans defeat the Las Vegas Raiders week 16. Week 16, Jacksonville goes to Denver with that defense, with somebody like Trevor Lawrence always throwing interceptions and things like that, making mistakes. I have the Denver Broncos defeating Jacksonville. So I have Jacksonville losing at Denver week 16. Week 16, I have Indianapolis hosting San Francisco. I think San Francisco is a better team than Indy. So I think San Francisco, and also I think that Wichita's a better coach. I think Shanahan's a better coach. I think San Fran defeats Indianapolis at Indy. Week 16, Tennessee hosts KC, Kansas City. What we talking about? What we talking about? What we talking about? KC defeats Tennessee. What we talking about? KC defeats Tennessee. There's nothing to talk about. Tennessee's not a good football team. Week 17. It says to be determined. I feel like this game is going to be moved to be a Saturday game. I think it's going to be a Saturday night game at the Los Angeles Chargers. I think it's going to be a Saturday night game. I think because right now I say to be determined because it's the flexibility especially during the college playoffs. Is it going to be a Friday night game, Saturday night game, some things like that? I think it's going to be a Saturday game. I think it's going to be a Saturday night game. I think it's going to be one of the games that that the Chargers either wear they all yellow jerseys because they still have. Because I know they announced one, they haven't announced the other one. So either it's going to be their all yellow jerseys, it's going to be their all powder blue jerseys. And I think the Texans are going to wear their all white jerseys Saturday night again. Now that's just my personal opinion. I think what's going to be happening Saturday night against the Los Angeles Chargers. I have the Houston Texans going out there and doing exactly what they did in the playoff game, defeating the Los Angeles Chargers and letting everybody know that yes, CJ Stroud is better than Justin Herbert, and the Texans are a better football team than the Los Angeles Chargers. So I have the Texans defeating at LA, going to LA. So we're going to LA twice this year and winning both times. Week 1 and week 17, I have the Houston Texans go out there in LA defeating both the Rams and the Chargers. So I have the Chargers losing week 17 to the Houston Texans. Houston Texans defeating the Chargers on Saturday Night Football. Week 17, Jacksonville goes to Indianapolis. I think that Jacksonville defeats Indy and basically puts any type of end of any type of end if any type of end of Indy thought that they had a chance to make the playoffs with the last two games of the season. I have them getting their ninth loss actually. No, I'm sorry, not their ninth loss. That gives them their eighth loss. Gives them their eighth loss of the season. Pretty much basically putting them at they're not going to be able to get to the playoffs. So I have Jacksonville defeating Indianapolis at Indianapolis. So since I have Jacksonville beat Indianapolis, that also means I have Indianapolis losing to Jacksonville. Week 17, Tennessee hosts New Orleans. I think New Orleans might be the worst team in the NFL. I might have Tennessee as one of the worst teams. I do think New Orleans is the worst team. I think New Orleans ends up having the number one pick in this year's draft. Honestly, I think this upcoming draft, I think New Orleans is going to end up having the number one pick. So I have Tennessee defeating New Orleans at home. I have them getting a win at home against New Orleans. Week 18, the final week of the season. Houston hosts Indianapolis. Houston wins this game. The reason why I have Houston winning this game because this I think is going to be very important for the playoff factor. The Texans have already clinched the division by this time, especially according by the way I have it. But this is a very important game to win. So they're going to be playing the starters. It's not going to be, oh, we're not playing our starters like last year or just for a series. I think they're going to be playing those guys because they're trying to compete and actually get a top seed. And we're going to talk about that in a little moment as well. But I have Houston beat Indianapolis, Jacksonville hosting Tennessee. Jacksonville still has a shot to get into the playoffs because they're 8-8 right now. I have Jacksonville defeating Tennessee and getting their ninth win of the season. Like I said, I had Indy losing to us, and also like I said, since I have Jacksonville beating Tennessee, obviously that means I have Tennessee losing the last game of the season to Jacksonville. So in this order, this is how I have the AFC South. I have the Houston Texans winning the AFC South with a 13-4 record. I have Jacksonville coming in second place with a 9-8 record. I have Indianapolis coming in third place at a 7-10 record, and I have Tennessee coming in last place at a 5-12 record. So I have Houston 13-4, Jacksonville 9-8, Indy 7-10, Tennessee 5-12. Also have Houston coming in tied with Buffalo and Baltimore for the number one seed. The Texans lost to Baltimore, but defeated Buffalo. Buffalo, by that standing, Buffalo has lost to Houston, but I also think that Buffalo defeats Baltimore. So it's a three-way tie. Since all three teams beat each other, the next tiebreaker is conference tiebreakers. And the conference tiebreaker I have the Texans with a better conference record because they lost to San Fran and they lost to Arizona. They lost two games in the NFC. So I have Houston having a better conference record than both Buffalo and Baltimore. Because I have Baltimore have lost to them. Also, Baltimore lost to Cincinnati, and also Baltimore lost another division game, Pittsburgh or Cleveland, because they always lose to one of those two teams. So they have three AFC losses of their four losses. And same thing with Buffalo. Buffalo has lost to us. I have them losing a game in their division to New England, and I also have them losing to KC as well throughout the season. So they've lost multiple games in the AFC as well. So the conference record bodes well for the Texans, and that's why the Texans have won the number one seed, and that's why their last week 18, was very vital for them to play, and that's the main reason why Indianapolis walks away with an L because that is very vital. Again, I was surprised I gave Tennessee 5 wins. I mean, I maybe you could look at the Charger game or maybe the Vegas game. I could probably look back and try it. Really, the Vegas game because I already had them going 0-5. I didn't want them to go like 0-9, so I gave them a win. And maybe the Chargers game is a game I could probably take back and give them and probably take back and make them only have be 4-13, something like that. But that's roughly where I think they're going to end up being around their range. I thought maybe I said like around like 3 wins. Like that's before I did the schedule. I thought it was going to be around 3 wins. I ended up giving them 5, so I did throw them again as I'm writing out the schedule. Gave them some extra wins. I do think that both Jacksonville and Indianapolis are going to be competitive this year. And I know a lot of people are like they trash and all these different type of things. I do believe that both of those teams are going to be competitive this year. I think Indy has a lot of talent. I just think that I think they have a lot of talent as far as like the receivers and stuff like that. You talk about AD Mitchell, you talk about JT if he can stay healthy. You talk about Brian Pittman. I think they also got don't they got Dobbs, not Dobbs, but Downs as well. So like I think they have some talent, but again, they do have Daniel Jones at quarterback. And the same thing with Jacksonville. But I think Jacksonville has one of the best receivers in the NFL. We talk about BTJ. So I just think that because of the way the schedules are, I do think that Jacksonville is able to uh come up with an extra win or two, and one of them is against Indy, and that's part of the reason why I think they end up being 9-8. And I also think that possibly the reason why some of Jacksonville got 9 wins and Indy has 7 wins is because they in the division with Tennessee, and I think they're going to be able to get some of these wins off of Tennessee. I had them getting some of these. I think I have Indy sweeping Tennessee. No, but I had Jacksonville. Yeah, like Jacksonville got 2 wins off of Tennessee. So they 2 wins off of Tennessee and a win off of Indy gave them 3 extra wins. So they probably would have had 7 wins as well if it wasn't for Tennessee and Indianapolis being in their division. Not to mention, also got them getting the win against us as well because again, I think the Texans will drop at least one division game. Like the Texans have never been 6-0 in the division. We've never went winless in the division. So I do think that they will eventually drop a division game. And so I just think they're going to eventually drop a division game. But I have the Texans going 13-4, Jacksonville 9-8, Indianapolis 7-10, and Tennessee going 5-12. I have Houston making the playoffs, being the number 1 seed. I have Jacksonville missing the playoffs, even though they have a winning record. I do have them missing the playoffs, because, like I said, I think that a team like what you call it, like New England gets in at the very least as a 7 seed. I do think that this year the Bills get in, and I probably think another team from the West, a Denver or Chargers get into the playoffs as well. More than likely, it probably is going to be Denver, and it might be based off of a tiebreaker because I have Denver defeating Jacksonville. So it could be that they just get in. They might have the same record. Both might be 9-8, and Jacksonville doesn't make it in because they lost a tiebreaker. So it could be just that simple. Not to go deep too into it, but I think that's going to be something similar to that aspect of it. Now, like I told y'all before, I want to tell you exactly that y'all stay to the end of the video. I want to tell y'all exactly what the plan is this upcoming season. I know it's been a minute. I think the last live I did was back in late June. I think the last live I did was back in late June. But I will be going live every Friday before the game. So we're going to do a preview of every game every Friday before the season, before every game. So every Friday we're going to do a preview before the game, and the preview will be at live be between 7 and 7:30, somewhere roughly around there between 7 and 7:30. So we're gonna go live every Friday. Not week one. Week one we're gonna do it on Saturday because week one there's actually a Friday night game. I think it's the Chargers and the Chiefs on Amazon Prime that Friday. So like Monday, Thursday night is going to be Dallas and Philly, and then Friday is going to be the Chargers and the Chiefs on Amazon Prime. So I'm not going to do it that. I'm not going to do the preview the day. I'm not going to do the preview that Friday. I'm going to do the preview Saturday, the night before. So on Saturday it's going to be the night before the game. I mean, the first week is going to be the night before the game. It's going to be a Saturday live stream. Like I said, around 7:30 is Central Time. So somewhere roughly around there is where it's normally going to be at. That's what's going to be that Saturday, and then going for every week after that is going to be that Friday. It's going to be that Friday, like I said, between 7 and 7:30 is somewhere around there. Live pregame, preview of each game. We're going to talk about exactly what the matchups look like, what to exploit, injury reports and things like that. Exactly what we'll be looking for into that. Again, y'all comment, y'all let me know what y'all feeling. I'll read the comments, let you know exactly what y'all feeling. And then after the game, after every game, immediately after the game, a live stream. Right now, we're gonna break down instantly what we just seen happen. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever happened. We're gonna talk about, we're gonna break it down. So make sure, like I said, Fridays before the game, every Friday before the game, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a preview live stream. And then after every game, we're gonna have a live reaction, live breakdown of what we just seen, a post game after every single game live stream. And then also, I'm going to have videos mixed in throughout the week. Just some little, just little 10 to 15-minute videos. Sometimes it might even be like a little 5-minute video, whatever. Just a video throughout the week of just a quick conversation. It might be some type of battle, what I'm saying, as far as like position battle, somebody taking over their job, and this might who needs to start, things like that. Other little quick little matchups. So you're gonna see some pre-recorded videos in the middle of the week, but you got the live stream preview on Friday, and then you got the post game preview after the game on Sunday. So immediately after the game, make sure y'all pull up post game. Remember on Friday, y'all check out the preview game live stream. So make sure y'all ready for all those matchups. Make sure you're ready for all that content. I know people like, where you been? Where you been? Where you been? I've been busy. I have been busy, and also took a little time off because again, hey, like busy. So I know I could have been doing some stuff during the preseason. I was going to do some live streams after a couple of preseason games, but like I said, just got a lot of stuff going on, so I couldn't really get a chance to get into it. But the regular season about to kick off, so we about to kick it off. So don't worry.